Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams joins us now. Dan, let's talk about accountability. Starting with the rioters, starting with the mob, what could they face?
Well, they face a range of possible crimes, starting from misdemeanors to much more serious. The misdemeanors could be something like trespassing or entering a restricted government building. Those seem easy. The next level up would be some of the felonies, talking about assaulting a police officer. There's a specific federal crime on the books which prohibits entering the Capitol by force or with violence. That would be a serious crime. And then the next level up would be when you're talking about sort of insurrection, rebellion, etc. I don't know that we're going to get there, but I do think that there are going to be a lot of people here who are charged with something.
Yeah, and there's also the question of accountability for the president. You've got Democratic members of Congress drawing up articles of impeachment. Right now, there have been discussions inside the White House among cabinet members. We don't know how serious they were about invoking the 25th Amendment.
Well, and I don't know how serious they are either. But the 25th Amendment is much easier with regard to a president who's got 2 weeks left. Because there what you would need is you'd need the vice president, you'd need the majority of the cabinet members who basically say this is a president who's unable to discharge his duties. In theory, the president could then fight that. It goes to Congress, but that takes weeks. So it would have an immediate impact. The reason I don't think it's going to happen is, A, because that amendment was enacted really in the wake of John Kennedy's death to talk about someone with literally physical incapacity, someone who's in a coma, etc. But the language is broad enough in the 25th Amendment that it's led to discussions. The second reason is, of course, you need the political will of the vice president and the others in the cabinet to do something like that. So I think that it is more likely it's the sort of thing people talk about rather than that they actually do.
Especially with 13 days to go. At the same time, you know, you've got this double standard. The president, our reporting is that he rebuffed calls to call in the National Guard yesterday, was pushing for it all through the summer. That is one of the questions that has led people to say we need some accountability here. We also have 13 days left. One of the president's powers is the pardon power. Could he pardon himself against any future prosecutions?
He could certainly try. There are two ways he could do it. Number one would be to simply say, I am pardoning myself, and then would have to wait to see if it's challenged. If it is, then that would be resolved by the courts. The second way that some have talked about, which now would seem even more unlikely, would be the idea of sort of resigning the day before the end of his term, having Mike Pence give him a pardon, which would make it sort of much more typical, if there is such a thing when it comes to pardons. But because of everything that's happened, I think that's unlikely. Look, it's never been done before. The answer is anyone who tells you that 100% I know the answer as to what would happen if he self-pardons is overstating it. Most believe he shouldn't be able to do it. That's not what the pardon power was enacted for, but that there would certainly be a legal challenge.
Right, that granting a pardon is something you must do for someone else. You can't do it for yourself. That's the argument, at least. Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.